our Universal Studios Orlando ride tier list. So for those that aren't aware of a tier list, which I can tell you before, Jamie was not super aware of this. I was aware of this a couple months ago, so clearly I'm a seasoned pro at this.
Clearly, you know what you're talking about.
Instead of having like a top 10 or whatever, you rank them that way, you have tiers. So in this one, we have 6 tiers. So the very top tier is called the S tier. Stands for super. I'm calling
superb.
Or superb. Mm-hmm. Then below that, you have the A tier. So this one would be like a ride every time. Like this is a ride that you want to ride every time you go to the park. Mm-hmm. Then you have the B tier, which is it's mid. Okay. It's just okay. Then you have the C tier, which is skippable.
Okay.
The D tier is like someone likes it probably. And then you have the F tier, which is just no. Just no, never. I'll never ride it. I suppose you could also put the I've never ridden it here. But maybe for that one, we just go off of like assumption. Or one of us, I mean, between that, one of us has probably ridden it.
I think I've done all the attractions. Yeah.
So that is a tier list. So in this one,
and you can put any amount of attractions in each tier. So if you feel like there are just some doozies and you just all of them are bad, just put them all in F. Well, but you don't want to do that.
Ideally, there probably are. It depends on the type you do. There's probably certain rules on it. I know for the most part, most tier lists have like 1 to 3 in the S tier. Depending on, so you don't want, it's S tier is reserved for top, the best, the very, very best,
the best of the
best of the best. So yeah, so that's how we're gonna do this here. So let's just get going with this. So I have a thing up on my screen. Jamie's got a thing she's looking off of, and then if we disagree, I guess we'll come to some sort of agreement.
Okay.
Because we'll take this list and we'll share it. Mm-hmm. So we'll come to an agreement here. So. The first one we have is, let's do... You
want to do superb or do you want to do...
No. I'm doing an individual ride and then we take it where we're going to put it.
Oh, okay.
No, so I'm just going to name an attraction.
Okay.
And then we're going to discuss where to put it.
Okay.
That's what we're going to do here.
Okay, that sounds great.
The first one we have is Kang and Kudos, Twirl and Hurl. Where do you put Kang and Kudos? I think they say that. Twirl and Hurl.
I'm going to put that in D. As in, like someone will like it, and that someone is our daughter. she would ride this. This is for kids. This is a twirly ride. This is a dizzy ride, as I like to call it, and I cannot do these.
So yeah, this is. It's a very basic like it's your Dumbos. It goes in circles. I would personally put it C tier just because it's a kid ride. For the most, I know you can't do these, but for the most part, these are okay. They don't have insane wait times either, which is nice. And it's one of those things where, even if you're doing it for your kid, like it's kind of funny. I know you don't. I know you have some bad feelings toward The Simpsons right now, and I'm not the biggest Simpsons fan personally, but it does have some.
Right, I do.
In the way it's themed, I don't know. I would put C.
C. Okay.
Are you good with C?
Fair enough. Sure. Are we putting it into C?
But going to C.
Okay.
Okay.
He has a little graphic thing, by the way, there. He's like actually putting it in. So.
Yes, this is the thing I will share among. So.
Okay.
All right. The next one we have is Men in Black.
I put Men in Black in C. I thought that I feel like this is a repeatable attraction. Like as far as like you're gonna get a different score every time. It's something you can practice doing. There's strategy to it, and I like the way this ride is themed. It is at the very back of the park, so it's a trick to get there. But it could use a little bit of a refurb. I don't know if they'll ever retheme it, but if they did retheme it, they could retheme it to something different and it still basically have the same ride, just a different like IP or something. I don't know if they ever would.
I think they would at some point, given Men in Black is not like a classic.
Right.
People,
but it doesn't really see a lot of high wait times.
It doesn't.
It's it's in the middle.
Yeah. So
I don't have to do it every time,
So one thing I like about this list is like we can change things on the go if we want because this is a live thing. So can change it. Okay. Me personally, I'm competitive. I like games in which like you get a score and you can do better on it next time. The ride itself it's okay. Like you don't really have targets, so you don't really know exactly where to shoot. So that's something I guess. Offhandedly, I would put it at B as in mid, just because I think it has rewrite ability personally. Okay, I don't know how.
I said that too, but I just put it at C.
Okay.
But that's fine.
So you're good with putting it B?
Sure.
Okay. And again, if we decide to change this, we can change this. But
I have my list, so I'm not going to change my list. I'm just looking at yours too. So.
Well, this is our combined list.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
But yeah, I think it has rewrite ability. So I'll give it some credit there. So
okay.
All right. Next one we have is the Jimmy Fallon. What's it? Jimmy Fallon
Race through New York.
Yes, Race Through New York with Jimmy Fallon.
I put this at D. I've done it one time and I was like, that's enough. I'm good.
Yeah.
That's enough.
I agree. I mean, somebody I guess would like it.
Yeah.
It
confuses me, honestly. I'm like it's supposed to be like cheesy funny, but it's almost like it goes too far and like trying to be, you know what I mean? Like,
well, it's like zany off the wall. Like you go to the moon and you go underwater and like, I get they're taking a segment from the show. If I'm being honest, Conan O'Brien did it better.
Ride the Desk.
Conan's were.
I want Ride the Desk.
Yeah.
New
If
York.
you guys haven't seen that, look up Conan O'Brien riding desks like early 2000s, late 90s. It's the best.
Yeah.
It misses for me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not the biggest I don't watch the Jimmy Fallon show, so it's already kind of all the stuff they talk about in there. I'm sort of just like, but it does. I guess you can say a good part about this is like before you get on there, you have all that like, like almost like a museum of late night stuff, like Johnny Carson stuff.
Enjoy
and
that.
Everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess you have that, but yeah, I would say D for sure. Okay. All right. Next one here we have Revenge of the Mummy.
I put Revenge of the Mummy at A.
I've never ridden this, so I will completely rely on your opinion of this.
So this is a very popular attraction, and it is an indoor roller coaster. It can get jerky at times, but it's like I'm not gonna say cult favorite, but people love this ride.
I was gonna say when it was down for a little bit, people were not happy.
No, like it is entertaining. It is fun. It is like there's fire elements. There's Brendan Fraser. There's stuff crawling on the walls. You go backwards. Like there's a lot to this ride that makes it so cool. And so I really like it, and that's why I put it at A.
Okay. I mean, I love the Mummy movies, like the ones with Brendan Fraser. Like, what were there, 3 of them?
I don't remember how many there were.
Honestly,
I know definitely 2.
I always thought they were really good movies. So yeah. I'll rely on you. One day I think I will write it because this thing doesn't go upside down.
No.
I might.
Wait, does it?
I don't think it does.
I can't remember.
Because there was a ride track. There's a ride footage somebody had of it when it had the lights on, and it didn't go upside down.
Okay, maybe it doesn't.
So for me, I'm like, okay, I might try this.
I'll just tell you where you have to kind of brace yourself so you don't hurt your head, because there's this one part where it jerks really bad, and as long as you're ready for it, you won't get hurt.
Okay, I'll have my neck brace ready.
Okay.
Okay. All right, the next one we have, and I imagine there's going to be some anger about this, but it's the Simpsons Ride. Now, some perspective here before Jamie says what she's going to say. What used to be here was the Back to the Future ride, which is Jamie's favorite movie ever made, which is Back to the Future. So when they removed that, because they put in the Simpsons area back here, to say Jamie was mad is an understatement. When we went back to Universal Studios, when the Simpsons area was there, Jamie, I'm not kidding, wouldn't walk through it.
Nope.
She had
so much anger,
visceral anger toward this thing. It wasn't until like our 4th or 5th trip where I was finally like, let's ride it. And she rode it, and I'm pretty sure a part of you died inside because you hated the entire thing.
For sure.
So
for sure.
The Simpsons Ride, where do you put it?
I wonder. This is a big fat F for me. I am not a Simpsons fan at all in general, even having nothing to do with Back to the Future being there first. I don't watch the show. I don't get some of the references. It just makes me sick. Like one time I did it, I was like so nauseous. I was like, first of all, I can't do the ride. And secondly, I'm just not, it doesn't appeal to me whatsoever.
Yeah.
I know some people write it, and maybe I'll put it in D, but I'm also bitter. So F.
You are very angry about this ride.
It's my F.
I'm
ride.
not a huge Simpsons fan. Like growing up, The Simpsons were that show where you kind of weren't supposed to watch it. And then to me, South Park came along, and I was like, South Park's way more.
But like, what do you feel about like as a simulator ride and all that?
Well, yeah, that's what I was getting to. So I'm not the biggest fan of The Simpsons in general. I really like Back to the Future. I mean, it's not my favorite movie ever, but I do really enjoy Back to the Future as well. I think it was way better as Back to the Future. This one is clearly just a retheme over of that ride. I just don't think it works. Like it's not the worst simulator ride, I suppose, but like, I mean, I haven't ridden this for years. Mm-hmm. So I think I will agree with you, and I will say F tier just because I wouldn't personally be upset if the Simpsons area went away. I don't think it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. But now, how would you feel in reverse if Back to the Future, the ride, was still in Universal Studios? Where would you put it on the list?
Oh, good question. I would probably... I mean, if it's my list, I would put it an A because I would ride it every time. But I think for maybe most people, they would probably put it at B or C just because it's outdated.
I feel like now it would be more... So I feel like when they got rid of it, like, you know, things come in waves and like nostalgia and things. I feel like now Back to the Future would be like E.T. It would be really popular where people would want to ride it because you've seen this resurgence, in my opinion, because a lot of movies are terrible nowadays. Like Back to the Future is this beloved movie because it's a great movie from the 80s. I feel like you'd have a lot more people that would actually enjoy it now versus how long? It's been like 10 years since they redid it?
More like 20.
No, I'm talking about like the Simpsons area.
Yeah, they took the ride out in 2003.
It really?
Yeah, it would or 2003 or 2007. It was one of those years. I want to say it was 2003. I think the last time it was open was in Japan. I think it was the latest it was open.
You're right. Okay. Officially, wait, that is... Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Yeah. 2007?
2008 is when
is when it opened.
Yeah.
Yes. But
jerks.
Anyway, let's move on from talking about this terrible ride.
All right. Next one we have is... Let's do Villain Con, which is the Villain Con Minion Blast, which is the newest ride.
Yeah. Okay. So Villain Con, I put it B.
Yeah.
It's not an every time ride for us. We've only actually got to do it once since it opened. You know, it's a cute concept, and we do enjoy it. Our kids enjoy it. There's a few things about it that is just not like the best, but it's geared more to our kids too. So that's why I put it at B. Like it's good. Like it absorbs crowds and it's enjoyable, but it's not like the best.
Yeah, I think it's better than what was there, which was Shrek's theater 3D show. Mm-hmm. I agree. It's for families if you like the Minions and Despicable Me. So personally, I enjoy it for what it is, and our kids like it though, although the guns are a little heavy.
That is like the main complaint.
Yeah, and our daughter didn't, so they'll give you a smaller gun, but it doesn't record the score.
Right.
And she was not about that because she's
not
like
happy.
me and she's very competitive.
Exactly.
So I think the gun, if they could make the gun a little bit more accessible to, especially, I would say 10 and under age group, something like that. But for what it is, I think it's fine. A lot of people have a lot of disdain for this ride. I personally don't have that. I think it works for what it is. But yeah, I would put it, for us, I think it's a B, which is like a mid. I think for a lot of people, maybe they don't have kids, I could see this being a C or a D. So I could see the perspective of where you're coming from. I definitely think it's one of those things like when you families sort of like look at this and
I mean, for us that has a family of people that love Minions, I think B is an appropriate place
for sure. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, all right, let's move on and talk about Escape from Gringotts. Harry Potter. You're a wizard, Harry.
This is in my S list. This is superb.
S?
This is superb for me. 100,000%.
S. Okay. Okay.
Absolutely. This is, in my opinion, the best ride on that side, on the Universal ride.
You're not wrong. I mean,
it's
so
best.
Jamie has her list ahead of time. I'm kind of doing mine on the fly.
Oh, okay.
So this is kind of
that.
So what you're getting here is how Jamie and Jared operate.
Yeah.
Which is Jamie very much plans ahead, and I'm very much like, we'll just see how this goes. I really enjoy Gringotts, and I'm not a huge roller coaster person, but I really enjoy Gringotts. Our daughter likes it. I think the theming, this is me working through it all, thinking about it actually. The theming on the inside, like the giant bank you walk through, like I think the theming is
amazing.
Oh, it's one of the best ever on a ride, to be honest. Like the goblins in there in the bank area, like they move around. The chandelier, like it all is so realistic. So I agree. I think S tier is appropriate for that. So I just have to work. I just have to work through it. But yeah, I definitely. And not to mention, you do have a giant breathing fire dragon on top of the ride.
Yep, you sure do.
That's right there, which is very much in par with the ride. Like it's part of it.
She's in the ride. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the theming of it. I mean, the ride itself is good. I mean, it's a mix of screens and moving around stuff, but it's the theming to me that just puts it over the top.
Yeah.
Which they do that well with the Harry Potter stuff for sure.
Yep.
All right, next one we have is let's do Despicable Me Minion Mayhem.
Okay, I put this one in B as well.
I would agree. If you're going to put Minion Villain Con there, kind of this one is kind of the same thing.
Yeah, it's a 3D, or it used to be, sorry, it's not anymore, a simulator ride, and it's a cute story with Gru and the girls, and about birthday gifts and parties. You got the Minions. It's very fun. Our kids love it. Because of the story, and it's silly. It's a great kid ride, great family ride, and it's the first one you see as you walk into the park on the left. And I like the theming of the house in the front and everything.
I think technically you see VillainCon first.
I
think technically,
the way the building is
well, yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like you see the entrance
towards you, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you're right about that. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that whole area, like the Minions, just is that first little land you see as you keep going straight when you enter the park. I think B is a good place for all of them.
Yeah, I agree. I think, especially with us, a family that enjoys Despicable Me and Minions, I think it's a good place to put it. So, okay. All right. Here's the next one here we have. I'm interested where you're going to put this.
Okay.
Hogwarts Express.
Okay, so I also put this in B. This is another B for me.
So I put this in S.
Oh.
Like, I think in terms of if you're a Harry Potter fan, I don't know how this is not a you have to do. Like, the level of detail, the train, like, I think that, and it's so unique in that it's a transportation system in a theme park that is this highly themed.
That's a good point.
And you have King's Cross. Yeah. You have the stations. Like it's from whichever side you come in and out of, the theming of it is so impressive. And just to me, I put it S tier. I think especially if you're a Harry Potter fan, even if you're not a Harry Potter fan, I think that you get something from this. But like it's all just I look at it too as like it's such a unique thing. Like I mean Disney doesn't have anything like this.
No.
I mean, they can't. I mean, their parks are too far apart.
Right.
But even like Disneyland, I don't think they have anything like that. So, I put Hogwarts Express as an S tier.
I mean, valid points. And it exists in both parks, which is unique.
Mm-hmm. And it's a genius move to get people to buy park hopping tickets. Because you can only experience this thing.
You got a lot of good points.
Because you have to. Yeah. So from a pure marketing standpoint,
and everybody can ride it,
right? Yeah. And it's not a ride, but it's become you know what I mean? Like it's technically a transportation system, but it's
entertaining.
But it's become an attraction. So they kind of created an attraction out of just transporting you to another park. Okay,
I rescind my B and I'll put it for superb. I admit when I'm wrong.
I can admit when I'm wrong. Listen, fellas, I hit the jackpot. Okay.
Stop.
Just okay. All right. Well, I'm glad we could agree.
Okay.
All right. This will be interesting. E.T. Where do you put E.T.?
E.T.
So let me go first since you've been
okay.
going. I don't want everyone to think I'm swayed by you.
Okay.
And vice versa.
All right. Where'd you put it?
E.T. It's a classic.
Mm-hmm.
Opening day attraction.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they'll ever get rid of this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm going to put it in B.
Okay.
Now, I'm temporarily putting it there. I don't think it's below that. I don't think it's skippable. I enjoy it. Our kids enjoy it. Kids enjoy this. The theming in there is actually ahead of its time in the queue. The stuff in the queue, the smell in there, which some people love. It's not, obviously, if I'm imagining this is what maybe being on certain drugs is like when you get to the part where he goes back to his home planet. And sometimes they get your name right at the end. Sometimes.
I do like that part.
Hello.
Goodbye, Jamie, Jared. I do like that.
Sometimes. And then sometimes they call you goodbye, Rick, Pedro.
You're like, I think those are the people in the other one behind us.
I don't think they got the names right. But it's a fun game to play. So for me, I temporarily here, I put it at B. But I could be moved. Okay. I don't think I could be moved down though. I don't know. Maybe. Okay. What do you say?
I put C. I think it's right in the middle.
So why C and not B? Do you think it's pretty?
Again, like all the things you said about it being good, I agree with. But as you said, like being the oldest ride, like there's a lot of things about it that need to be fixed. Sometimes like the end at an animatronic at the end just doesn't work. There's the audio and the actions of like that first part before you start flying don't sync up, and that bothers me.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely. I'm not saying this is like top of the line, like animatronic technology going on here. I
mean, I really like this ride, but like it's not one of those things where I feel like I have to do it when I go. Like if we do it, it's because the kids both of our kids will do it, and so like, we do ride it a lot for them. But yeah, that's why I put it like right in the middle.
Okay, temporarily.
Leave it at B. If you
well, this is our list here. So
okay,
you came off. Listen, everybody out here. This is how you compromise in a relationship. This is how a winning relationship. You moved off of your Hogwarts Express, so I can move it to C. I see what you're saying. I'm not saying it's a perfect ride.
Okay.
If the wait time on this is over 30 minutes or maybe less than that, we probably wouldn't do this.
Right.
So
correct. Yeah.
This is an insanely busy. I think that last time we wrote it was a really busy day, and this was like a 45-minute wait, and we went ahead and waited just because we were going to ride this and then go. And we ended up waiting. It was about half an hour. Yeah. Yeah. So okay, I'll put what. Honestly, there's only been one other ride in C, so I'll put it in C. Okay. Temporary. I'll put it there for now. Okay. All right. Temporary. Relationship. That's how it works. There you go. Okay. Good job. All right. Next one here, I will have no opinion on because I've never ridden it, is Rip Ride Rockit. Okay, so I put this at C. I unfortunately probably can't do this ride anymore just because me and roller coasters, we have a complicated relationship because I really love them, but my head, my ears, all of that don't like it. Your motion sickness doesn't enjoy it. It's just really rough on my head and my brain. It can be fun, and like with the music that plays and the going up the 90-degree angle going up, like it's terrifying. Anyway, going around, it's fine. It's a fine roller coaster, but it's definitely skippable for the fact that like it's too intense for me anymore. I mean, I will never ride this. So okay, I would say for me it would be a complete F personally. Well, but sure, it's not my thing. So well, do you want to put it at D then? Do you want to compromise and put it at D? No, I mean I think it just comes down to if you like that type of attraction. Like I'm not a roller coaster person, so it's just an F for me. But you like roller coasters, so your opinion on this would actually. I like roller coasters. I'm not a fan of the theming though.
The theming is weird to me. But
what is the theming technically?
It's Hollywood Rip Red Rocket. Like it's like it plays like it's like a rock and roll thing.
So it's not like kind of like the Aerosmith ride.
Kind of.
In like
I don't know.
Studios.
I don't know. Maybe a little bit.
Okay.
So I don't know. I put it at C.
All right, we'll put it at C.
Okay.
We can always move these toward the end, but
okay.
Let's see here. Let's do. All right, where would you put Transformers: The Ride 3D?
Well, for us, I feel like it belongs in A.
A.
I feel like it belongs in A. I do. Here's the reason why. It is basically a copy of Spider-Man. Spider-Man, which is over in Islands of Adventure, and that ride is still like I feel like one of the best rides in Islands of Adventure still, and it's so old, and they did such a good job with it. And this ride is basically the same like track. Mm-hmm. It's
basically the same ride.
Yeah, it's just a different story and everything. And you all ride it like every time you go because our daughter really likes it.
Well, I was gonna first off like I love you a little bit more now because I love Transformers.
Well, the A says ride every time.
Yes.
Well, we do. We ride it every time. So
I love Transformers. I love Optimus Prime. Mm-hmm. I've gotten in arguments with people in the past over Transformers. Okay. And I came away correct. Our kids love that Transformers as well. Like our son especially loves Optimus Prime. And associated with this, you have where you can meet Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, and Megatron.
Outside of the ride. Yeah.
And they have a gift shop where they have actually really cool Transformer stuff you can get. Like some of the stuff is not easy to find that they have in that gift shop.
Yeah.
I agree. Because we do end up riding this a lot. Because of one of the reasons, typically, if it's really busy, it's a different story, but you can usually get this in under 30 minutes in the wait time. Our son, for some strange reason, is refusing to ride Spider-Man and this. I don't know why, but so our daughter and I usually ride this together. So it's kind of become our thing. But yeah, I mean, I love Optimus Prime, and A it is.
Okay. Yay.
Good job, you.
Thanks.
All right. We are going to include shows as well, but the last ride we're going to do is Fast and Furious Supercharged.
Oh, sorry. You weren't done talking. I'm so sorry. I
think this is a universal F from just about everybody, including whenever you were asked to do a panel at Universal. Yeah. And I remember the guy said, what do you think is the worst ride at Universal? And you were like, Fast and Furious. And he was like, yeah, we're aware. Like they basically said something like, we know. So, yeah. Which is weird because it's actually a pretty new ride.
Yeah. What was it? 2017 or something?
Something like that. So
yeah. Not the best. Not the best. It's the concept is weird. It's super cheesy and
it is.
Dare I say lame?
It's honestly where it falls into is cringe.
Cringe, yeah.
It falls into it's not like awkward and cringy.
Yeah.
Like you can tell. I'm pretty sure
Ludacris is not there.
I was going to say in the pre-show, you can tell Ludacris did not film that. Like that is looks like a video game of him. His voice is there.
It does.
And then like the people like they have an actor that's in the pre-show, and they just mock the ride as well because they'll be like
everybody's mocking the ride the whole time.
But they'll be like we're answering a phone call, which anytime you do like a fake phone call is always awkward,
right?
You know, and they do like it's just weird.
The thing is, this concept back in like the 80s, 70s would have been really good. It would have been really cool. People would have ate it up. If this could be a good concept if they did it well. Part of it is it's the way in which they do it. Like they took some of these. This is based off of the tour out in Hollywood. Where you take the backstage tour and then you go through an area and it's like it's a section of that tour that they took, and it's same thing with like the Kong ride over at Islands of Adventure. Neither one of those I'm fans of, which is like you have basically like you're in a vehicle and you have screens on the sides like you're driving. It simulates like you're moving.
Right. Mm-hmm. It's sometimes you can't see anything, especially for kids. Like I just don't think this ride concept is a good idea generally. Yeah. So I think the ride concept is bad. And it's just cringy. The acting and the storyline you're going to a party.
That's the dumbest
and
thing ever.
Now we're family. Ugh. And it's like, and then you're like, Vin Diesel is literally like, I mean, I know the movies are ridiculous, but in this one, he's like jumping from a car to a helicopter off of like the things he does. And it clearly is like, it looks like a video game. It doesn't even look realistic.
Right,
so
right.
It's just bad. Just bad all around. All right. Let's get to the shows and we'll wrap this thing up. So where would you put animal actors on location?
I've done this maybe a couple of times in my life, and I don't know. It's very skippable for me, and I don't know. Like, it's not something we ever do. So I put it at D.
I would agree. We haven't done it in a long time.
I mean, it's fine the way it is, and it's if there's nothing, if it's like a really busy day and there's nothing else that you want to wait in line for, and you need to get out of the sun, go to the show and have some.
Maybe we should try it sometimes because our kids, they would probably enjoy it.
Yeah, if we sat close enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, in general, we haven't done this in a long time. So
yeah, I put it at D.
All right. What about Universal Horror and Makeup Show? And I just want to say, I think we both agree this is a really funny show.
It is a funny show. It's a long show.
It is a long show.
So it's a little bit of a commitment, and there's only, like a handful of times every day that they do it.
Yes.
So it's kind of choosy. And it is the oldest, along with E.T. It's like the opening day attraction.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, like it's very funny. Like the actors, like it's really, what do they call them? They don't, not scare actors. You know, I'm trying to think of the word. Like, just, I guess they're just actors.
Oh, they're just actors.
Okay.
Like, the names always stay the same, but the people playing them are different.
Yeah, and so like it's the same stuff they talk about every time, but it changes it up based on like who they pick from the audience and everything. So, it is very entertaining. And so, for me though, because it's such a time commitment, it's a long show and like you have to kind of schedule them to be there. I put it as C. That it was skippable for me. Like, I don't have to do it every time, but like it's nice. But I may actually put it at B.
So I think it's a B.
Okay.
Simply
like more than I'm talking about it, I'm like, I think it might be a B.
It's actually a really good show.
Yeah.
And if you've never done it, I think it's something that you should experience. I think a lot of people would enjoy it.
Yeah.
So
agreed.
for that reason, obviously if you've done it before and things like that, that's a different story. But I think Universal Monsters is something that obviously with Epic Universe that they're going to do more of. So yeah, I would say B.
Okay.
B's a good spot.
Okay. Well, I amend my choice.
We're so agreeable.
Look at us.
And so we're not. I don't know. There's something. I think if I really would have like acted like The Simpsons was like a C ride, that you would have just quit, just walked away.
Maybe.
Like I'm finishing the list by myself. All right, the last one we have is the Bourne Stunt Spectacular.
I put this at A.
So I agree in A. I mean, it's almost it's such a good show. It could almost go to S tier, but it's a show.
I don't know if it's an S.
But it's a show. So I agree. This is
a fantastic show.
It took us a long time to be able to see this.
Yes.
For whatever reason, we kept the timing never worked because again, it's a show. So I guess it does work against it. Is you have specific times,
right?
And sometimes, depending on how your day goes, it doesn't work. And I think the last show was what, like
usually it's like 5.
Yeah, it's
5 o'clock.
Sometimes it's So sometimes you get done and you want to go do it, and the last show's already happened. So that works against it. But if you can see this, if you have seen it, I agree. I think it's a great show. Very unique. So
underrated, right? Like, I feel like nobody talks about it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is like, when I first watched it, I was like, I really liked that. It uses a bunch of physical effects and special effects, and
it's got moving screens coupled with it's like the way in which they do it is, I mean, the screen they have is like the most super HD screen I think I've ever seen, like that giant.
Yeah.
It's very clear.
Yeah, it's hard to explain exactly, but they incorporate all different kinds of medium, if you will.
Yeah.
And make it like you're following Jason Bourne around.
Yeah, and the thing I like about this is obviously Universal Studios, when it first opened, was based on like it's a working studio behind the scenes, getting to the movies. So I'm not the biggest on like stunt shows, but I think this is one where it's like it's in the spirit of how the park was when it opened. It's like behind the scenes, here's how we do this. And and not really, they don't tell you how they do these things, but you see these things like up close and personal, and just like how, you know, the choreograph goes and everything like that. And I love the Bourne movies, so yeah, I think A.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if a show could go to S tier, I think it would be this one.
Mm-hmm. I still think as A because of, again, the reasons I gave.
Oh, I completely agree. I don't think a show. I think a show. No, it depends on your list. If you're talking shows, I think this would go S tier. If we're talking just attractions in a theme park, okay. I think it's hard to make an argument that a show goes to the S tier just because it is limited by, you know, the availability of it and, you know, everything like that. But yeah. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's our list. I think we have a pretty good one. So our S tier.
Can I read them?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So S tier, which again, superb, is Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts and Hogwarts Express. A tier, which is a ride every time attraction. The Bourne Spectacular Show, Revenge of the Mummy, and Transformers The Ride 3D. B tier, which is mid, would be Despicable Me, Minion Mayhem, Villain Con, Minion Blast, and the Universal Horror Makeup Show. C, which would be considered skippable, would be E.T. Adventure, Men in Black, and Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket. D, someone will like it, is Kang and Kudos, Twirl and Hurl, Race Through New York with Jimmy Fallon, and Animal Actors on Location. And then the F tier was just no, is Fast and Furious Supercharged and the Simpsons Ride.
The one I think we did change on, I thought Men in Black was B. At least that's where I
okay. Sorry. Men in Black is B.
Men in Black was mid.
Yes. So, sorry. Men in Black is mid. So.
Yeah. That's the only thing I would change. But yeah, that's our list. So did you enjoy this discussion?
Yes, I did. I didn't realize how much we would discuss it more than just a top 10 list.
Well, I feel like it forces you, if you have a top 10, it's like basically a top 10, nothing really matters outside your top 3. A lot of times where I feel like this forces you to be like, okay, where exactly do you put this? And I kind of like how it makes you, because it does create debate. It's like we're sitting there talking about where does, E.T. belong? And it's not that we hate E.T., but it's like, well, okay, we'll put it C, B. But it, it's like it puts different tiers in it. So I like that. So
I do. I like this. I want to do this again.
Well, we will do this again. So in a future episode, we will do this ride tier list for Islands of Adventure.
Okay.
And then, given Jamie has to do a little bit of research on this, but we will do one for the anticipated, what we know about rides coming to Epic Universe. I think that'll be a fun one.
That'll be interesting, given how it's not open.
That one can also be, obviously it's speculation, but also can be a little bit of education about if people are curious what's coming to Epic Universe, that's a good way to introduce it, kind of explain what these rides are. And then obviously what would be really kind of fun to me is we have that list, and then after we experience all those when it opens, we compare how we thought it was going to be versus how it ended up being.
Okay.
I think that could be fun.
Yeah.
But that